Thanks, Gary. Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Going to approval of the agenda, and just for everyone's awareness, there will be a public hearing at 7:30. It's regarding the new business item number 1. So I would entertain a motion to amend the agenda to put old business item number 2 ahead of new business.
So moved.
Okay, is there support?
Support.
Alrighty, so did you catch that amendment? Really Kevin supported. Okay, so all in favor, please say aye. Aye. None opposed. Okay. So the amended agenda, we will put old business item number 2 ahead of new business item number 1. So with that, we can move into approval of the minutes. And the minutes were from the special meeting that was held a week. I don't see any issues with them. I don't know if anybody sees any issues, but pretty straightforward one. Closed session meeting, so. Okay, entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Alrighty, support. So there's motion and support to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Sorry, Rich, who supported that?
I did.
You did,
I
okay.
supported it, yeah. So we'll move into call to the public. Is there any public comment at this time regarding anything besides the item for a public hearing, which is the Wade Hall increase in accessory structure, which will have a public hearing and then have public comment as part of that as well. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, should we come?
Yeah, if you could come forward, it helps, and then state your name,
Sure.
where you live, please.
Hi, my name is Sarah Palmer. This is my husband, Michael Palmer. We moved to this township in 2020 and started a small vegetable farm on Holt Fork Road. And we have recently become aware that a farm very close to us, just across the border in Heartland Township, has been sold to American Aggregate and could potentially become a gravel mine. And it's about a quarter of a mile from our property. We're very concerned. We are a certified naturally grown farm, which means we are organic. And aside from that, just all of the other health concerns involved with a mine opening in that area, the dust, the water contamination, all the other things. And so we're here today. We know it's a Heartland Township Planning Commission thing, but it's right on the border. And so we're hoping that Tyrone Township is in dialogue with Heartland Township about this issue. Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, we understand that currently the state legislature has a pause on 3 bills that are in committee regarding removing authority from the townships and giving to the state regarding these aggregate operations. And we were very relieved that they're paused right now. We also want to know, what are we doing as a township in dialogue with the state to maintain that authority for local decisions to be made regarding these aggregate operations? Because it really impacts everyone, whether it's Heartland, Deerfield, Tyrone, and so on. So
Understood.
we just want to know, what dialogue is Tyrone having with Heartland, and what dialogue is Tyrone having with the state, and what can we do to be a part of this process because we don't know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Nothing is officially being announced yet or anything, but we want to get ahead of it and be in the know.
Yeah, so what I would recommend is that, to attend the Heartland Township is gonna have to go before the planning commission, right? Likely, so that meeting and stay engaged there. And also here at this level, I think in Tyrone Township, the appropriate place to request, obviously this is good, right? It's good for us to understand and know, but it would be to the township board. And there's, as part of our master plan, we are currently in the middle of, which you're probably aware of, we are looking at what roads are designated as heavy traffic, the stuff we're considering, but I think the best way to stay engaged is to attend their planning commission meetings and voice your concerns.
Yeah, part of the state's reason for doing that is they're trying to control solar farms.
Yes, Steve, so, but to keep it simple, what
Yeah,
we do
that's-
as a planning commission, we're citizens of this township, so what, we're part of the Michigan Association of Planning, and they send out alerts, and they ask people who are in positions like this, they ask them to get engaged and contact senators or representatives. So that's, in a simple way, that's what you do, you can send an email, right, that's things we've done, but other than that, I think I answered some of your questions the best I could, but
So another meeting that we should attend, Heartland obviously, but any other planning commission meetings, other-
here, I would recommend the township board meetings,
Township
right?
board meetings.
Yes, because we are a recommending body, and
I
the
see.
township board
It's
has,
elected.
is the elected body that has approval of our decisions, yeah.
But if I could
Yeah, go ahead.
But in relationship to the states trying to take over this, what they consider solar, mining or something?
Well, it's aggregate and mineral mining.
It's a weird thing,
It's
but, you know, as a township and as a county, we're drafting legislation basically trying to stop that.
Okay, that's good.
So we're involved with that, and we've been involved with that from the state's perspective, and their motivation is strictly to not allow us to stop these, what they call, solar utility scale stuff.
Okay.
But they're trying to take that power away from us, and that would also include what you're opposed to as well.
Okay. Good to know. Well, thank you.
Hopefully
So
that
we're aware
answered
of
some of
it.
your questions.
We're aware of it.
Yeah, and we just wanted to bring it to your attention that we've just been in dialogue with neighbors on our street and in the area about it.
Yeah.
And they're concerned, and so more calls will be coming in as, you know, this unfolds, if it does, so.
Yeah, understood, yeah, I get it, yep. There'll be a lot of attention for sure. Yeah, thanks for letting us know, I appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thanks for coming. Is there any other public comments at this time? Okay. We'll move into old business item number 2. So I know in our last, the last few meetings we've discussed, this point we're at now is that the Carlisle Workman is drafting a draft ordinance that includes some of the recommendations from Livingston County. And Mateo, I don't think that has been completed yet, so we don't really have any updates at this time, is my understanding. There's just more of an awareness, but,
Yeah, I mean, so Livingston County review was kind of part and part language, but then also just a general recommendation of,
yeah,
doing this and or doing that, but not providing language for it. So we've gone through and kind of added some of our own similar notes, and then I think it's probably just a little bit of coordination with Ross on feedback of, do you kind of want to go the way that they're recommending that they and we say, or do you want to kind of back off of it from this perspective or that? And from that, we should have the guidance to draft something.
okay, yeah. Yeah, because when we reviewed in our meetings here, every time we reviewed it, the language they have in there makes it stronger and more clear as far as what requirements are needed, so.
Yeah, I think they had some good context. I mean, it can
Yeah.
get pretty complex pretty quick.
Yeah,
So I mean, most of their recommendations in there, I think are good. I think it's just turning them into actual language.
yeah, that's good. And for us as a planning commission, there's nothing you need from us at this time, correct?
No, I just have to circle back with Doug and Ross And then
Okay.
I think anything that we would need from you guys, Ross would reach out and collect.
Okay.
And then we go from there.
Thanks. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're not the ones holding it up.
No, like I said, it's definitely on the radar.
Yeah, and there is a moratorium in place, so we want to make sure we're moving on it in our window, so.
Sure.
Thanks. Any other comments for the utility scale solar? You guys?
We talked about a potential overlay district, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we had any discussions on where that would be? Or if
No,
that was the option we wanted to go? or-
Yeah, not yet, because we, as part of, I think the last meeting we talked about it, and I thought it would be better to get our ordinance amended the way we want it, and then because what we're amending is we're saying, hey, it can only be done in FR.
That's what
We're removing it from FR, so.
And we're gonna say, what are we gonna say in the ordinance? Where can it be?
It's in, I forget what it was, industrial and commercial.
But I think it's,
There's two.
the variations of pyro
Yeah, correct,
that
yeah.
it's allowed.
So we're gonna allow it for a district and not have an overlay district?
Well, overlays mentioned in the notes, so that's one of the things that we kind of have to look into as to whether or not that would be an appropriate way to provide for it as well, or if it's strictly by a zoning designation.
Yeah, and the reason why we figured out, like, hey, if we just do the amendment to the ordinance first, because right now, we're in the process of doing the future amendments.
That's why
And
I
that
think-
could guide our decision of overlay or not.
Okay, but I'm just saying, I think it's something we gotta think about, because we were
Absolutely,
talking about
yeah.
the future land use.
Yeah,
And
correct, yeah.
that's a land use, that could be used in the future.
Yep, thanks. That's
So-
exactly. No, it's a very good point, yeah. So I don't think there's anything else regarding utility scale solar for now. Would we expect that for the workshop meeting, or do you think for the July regular meeting?
I would think for July, for
Okay.
sure,
All right.
possibly for the workshop. And we kind of fall back on Doug on what we can.
Yeah, understood, yeah.
Get together.
Yeah, typically the workshop has been dedicated to master plan,
Right.
which is okay, and it's fine. So the next item on the agenda, if there's nothing else for utility scale solar, is the topic of the, public hearing, which is the Wade Hall increase in accessory structure. And basically, if an applicant wants to have an accessory building that's larger than 800 square feet, it needs to come to the planning commission for review. Remember, in the past year, we were looking at what should that size be, and because we know 800 is small, but, so this is one of those ones that this is part of the process, but.
Yeah, I think we haven't really got to that, we've been dealing with other business.
Yeah.
But while we're dealing with other business, we keep getting the application.
Yeah, and really, I think the master plan is taking priority with this. Just something that, at this one to look at is to see if we have any issues with the site plan that we've gotten. But, you know, obviously, we can ask questions once we're in the public hearing, but for us to look at prior to that, we have 15 minutes. Don't want to start early in case someone's coming at 7:30. Then, Carrie, did we receive any written communication on that?
No.
Okay. All right. So Mateo, have you heard of, I know we're kind of hopping topics again, sorry, I should have asked this in the utility scale solar. But have you heard of any, what's happening in other communities that have either not permitted them, or I'm just curious if anything has developed on that front? I haven't stayed close to it.
I mean, it's definitely a buzz topic. You hear of kind of things coming and going. As far as like how other communities are working with them, I know that Livingston County research or referenced some neighboring counties and some kind of best practices. You know, if you can kind of, you don't have as much tenure to label it best practices because this is all kind of new, but just some stuff that seems to be working on how they can be zoned and laid out. I know one of the topics that I've heard, that I've gotten some feedback on, I've actually reached out to some folks at DT about is whether or not to allow for the battery storage on site, because that's kind of a big topic right now, to the point of like it adds marketability to the site if you allow the batteries, because they can store and then yeah, well, right, so like the marketability goes up because you're allowing it. The challenge is that they're still working on ways on how do you deal with it if it becomes an issue from a maintenance perspective, from a malfunction perspective, things of that nature. So, I mean, those are the things I've been more familiar with, is again, it's kind of like allowing for the battery storage. But
So you haven't seen where there's been a community that's permitted it up to a certain size?
that I'm not familiar with. I wouldn't be the most tenured guy to ask, but that I'm not familiar with.
What's the plan for the master plan?
Yeah, I was gonna do it after the public hearing, but there's 13 minutes, so
I got a comment
I
about
would have
that.
to amend we can move that ahead of it if we want.
I think we should, we got 13 minutes, and I don't wanna,
Yeah, no, we might as well.
let's
use
do
it.
that, let's move the master plan up, if we could.
There's a motion to amend the agenda at old business item number 1. Into new business.
I'll move that, we do that.
And Kevin supported.
Okay.
All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
If I could jump right in.
So are you looking at the task list?
Well, I'm looking at the future land use, when I made that comment, and I sent the response to the email when we got the plan, that, I wanted to see, and I thought we agreed that we were gonna put Fenton Concrete as an M2 zoning, and then Ross came back and said, well, that's a future land use. Well, when I look at the future land use, we still have the mobile home parks which is the current existing use, listed as, as that mobile home residential in the future land plan. I don't know why we're not gonna do that with the concrete plan. I think that gives us a good buffer, and that's what we talked about last time, is sort of trying to protect us from letting some other intensive, heavy industrial use come in.
Are you looking at future land?
I'm looking at this one that we got, yeah, this one here, that Ross sent out.
Okay.
It's,
It's not in there.
I don't know if it's in the plan
Did
or
you
not.
send it this week?
I printed it off. Well, this came a while ago. But it's a future land use with truck routes and water mains.
Okay.
It's that one. And my other comment is, I really want to see Fenton Concrete listed as M2.
Yeah, I had those notes. I thought maybe I had it wrong via the parcel, but I thought we made that adjustment. You're saying it's,
It's not on here. There's no M2 on this that I see. And I really want that to be in there.
can I approach to take a look at the?
Yeah, absolutely.
Map here, just want to make sure, my apologies, I would end up marking later on out.
Yeah, that was, I got that.
That's the one there.
Yeah, so where, the Fenton Concrete's,
It's up in, it's somewhere.
right here.
Yeah, it's like right in here maybe?
But,
Yeah.
yeah, Steve, so what it'll show it as is either a plan, on the future one, it'll say planned commercial services.
But see, but I want to put it, I thought that's why we agreed to put it as an M2, specifically to the.
Yeah.
What's it, you gotta go to the equivalent table.
Well, yeah, so I think for us, I mean, if looking at the
The
map.
zoning districts don't equal the future land use
Yes,
designation.
So that, it's a
Yeah.
different, so,
I've asked about that,
So I
but
think we-
there's a reason it needs to
Planned
be done.
industrial, under the future land use designation of planned industrial.
so
That includes industrial.
So that includes M2 in that? Is that what you're saying then?
Well, it's more or less, these are new designations.
New
developed by.
Right, but
No.
I'm looking at this one here, which is this here,
Yeah.
and that would include, what I'm calling is the old, I call it an M2, which is heavy industrial.
But Steve,
Aren't they getting rid of that stuff?
but what we haven't received an updated future land use based on our list.
Okay, that was my big
But
concern. So I just want to make sure that we,
that from Carlisle.
that we sort of have that, because we talked about that last time.
Well, and so that brings up a good point, because what we tried to do is, if you follow 23, more or less to the west, where we have planned industrial or planned commercial, we tried to look at existing uses and then kind of apply the most relevant designation for the future land use map to show that we were incorporating those businesses into the future land use plan. So things really got kind of generalized into planned industrial, planned commercial,
Yeah.
Things like that, as opposed to the multiple designations that you had for different things, which is really the route that you go with the future land use map.
Yeah, and then you have our notes from last time when we mentioned.
Yeah, I just didn't know why that, yeah, I guess I was just,
No, that's fine, like, I get what you're saying. Like I said, Fenton Concrete, it's like the first one I looked at, because you referenced it by name, and made sure that it got the planned industrial, because that's what it would best fall under with these categories that we provided.
yeah, that was.
Yeah, so there's no zoning districts classified as future land use map.
There's a table that equates it.
It just says, hey, planned commercial can be industrial, light industrial, pyro, etc.
Okay. So we have another spot here on the south side of Fawcett Road in Old 23. That's planned industrial. But you got that new Fortress
Yep.
in Pennington and all that, just planned
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah, Bill, and what we've done in the last few meetings, we were able to make it, but we went through and we gave them a list of things for the existing land use map and said, hey, these need to be updated because they're actually not what we're seeing, they're commercial, right? Like the
Pennington.
Foster corner and then Fortress, like you mentioned. Yeah, so there was quite a list that they amended, and I think it's in here.
So in the packet that we got today is the table 11.14, and that shows the zoning, master plan future land use designations, the previous master plan land use designations, and then equating zoning, current
So
zoning
it's
district.
just, it looks this one.
So that's-
Steve,
Right there. That's that table you get, for some reason,
I have
they
it on
don't,
the screen, but.
I've asked this before, it was Ross or the planning consultant, well, they don't want them to be equal. You can't, in the future land use map, we don't just put M2 or whatever the zoning
It's
district
supposed to be.
for some reason.
Dimension
Right.
for what we want.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay.
But I think there still could be comments like Bill had, Fortress or something. I think there's still areas that may not be correct.
Yeah, I mean, you got, even on this map, it's showing heavier.
Which one you got there?
That's
That's
old.
an old.
That's,
That's an old,
keep
yeah.
in mind, that's McKenna. That's an old master plan.
So let's go to this one.
That was included in this packet. It's not included in your packet for today. It was because it hasn't been changed. Is that correct?
The future land use that you guys, the only map that's been updated was the future land use from notes from the prior workshop.
Okay, but what, it did come in yesterday's packet. Came in an email on, the last one I got was,
Yeah, Mateo, I think we don't have the future land use.
May 31st.
With updates, we have.
We got it on May 31st.
Yeah.
And then that's when you comment to, Steve. So we got that one early, and that's probably why we didn't include it in this. It probably, Probably should have been.
The attachments you got?
Yeah, look at the email on May 31st, can you pull it up? Just a minute.
No, so this is the map, this is the.
That's the one that was,
Yeah.
no. Look here on,
Okay, that's
on the 31st,
I'm looking for a table you guys.
right here, this map here. 5/23 is the date in the bottom corner. That's the alternate, see?
Yeah.
The last one we got, which before the last meeting, was,
Oh, that was canceled.
yeah.
I see that.
So I just want to make sure, because we did have comments to Mateo, and I think he updated some of those, and that's when you responded on that M2, on that email.
May 31st.
May 31st, yeah.
All right. Well,
What was the other one, Bill, you said Fortress?
Well, yeah, the whole.
That's
area
called, that's plain industrial at the northwest corner.
from Fawcett Road north.
That whole area we didn't have is plain commercial. I don't know what we discussed. We did discuss it, and we gave Mateo directions, but right now, Rich is gonna pull it up here, but it's, the Fortress is, in the future land use, is shown as plain industrial. Just north of it is plain commercial.
What about Pennington?
That's a gas place just north of Fortress?
Yeah.
Plain commercial.
That's the propane?
Propane, yeah.
Yeah, so we put that in plain commercial because they're selling it.
And then surrounding that is low-density residential. So, we talked about some of those changes there. I didn't compare what our notes from previous to what was submitted, but there were some changes made.
Now, what about, from Dean Road to the south, between the horse auction, or the trailer sales now?
Yeah. There's that subdivision there, which Irish something,
No, north of that,
north of that, there's,
4 acres or something that butts up to Dean Road.
yeah, 40 acres, it looks like about a 40 is plain commercial in teal.
Right here, Bill, on the screen, where my cursor is.
Yeah, you might have to get the,
Yeah, there's this.
Just.
oh, that's Action. That's Action and then storage units next to it. Those two
No.
parcels there.
That's north.
That's further north,
Okay, I think you said north of Dean.
South.
south of Dean.
Okay, south of the subdivision there?
And then it butts up to the trailer place.
Oh, okay, that one is, medium density residential? Oh, no, low density residential.
Medium.
No, that's low, is that light yellow? Is that right?
This one?
Light yellow? No, I think he's talking south of the subdivision. Right there?
Right here, Bill, that's where my pointer is.
Or are you talking in front of the subdivision?
So that's low density.
That's the subdivision. It would be, if go up to Dean.
Are you talking the
Tracer
trading
up to Dean?
Yeah.
From Dean south to actually the horse place or not the horse place, the trailer place.
Oh, right in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood. That's, also, that's medium density residential.
Yeah.
That's what it currently shows in this map. Are
I
we,
thought it was, they just had a for sale sign and I thought it listed commercial.
well, we gotta look for the current zoning map. I don't know what it shows. This is the future land use, what we're saying
All right.
could be, you know,
Right.
I think that one is listed commercial
That one
right
is
now.
commercial.
Because I've been getting a lot
In
of.
the current
calls.
zoning?
No, I'm just saying from, there's a sign
Oh,
that's
well,
on
yeah,
it, it
yeah,
says
yeah.
commercial on it.
Right, okay.
I'd look here, one second, I'll look at zoning. Industrial. Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah, good,
You got the
So,
current
guys,
zoning map?
Vacant.
I think
Well,
what
let's
we
do
should-
this.
That's the land use.
what we'll do is
You know, that's different.
we'll regroup and
This
now
could
we need to suspend the meeting and move into the public hearing right now, so. Yeah, we'll put that on hold, and, so I entertain a motion to suspend regular business and move into the public hearing. All right, is there support?
Support.
Okay, the motion and support, public hearing. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so I'll read the public hearing, and we'll move into that. Notice is hereby given, the Tyrone Township Planning Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, June 13, 2023, beginning at 7:30 PM at Tyrone Township Hall. The purpose of the public hearing is to receive public comments regarding the following proposed special land use permit. A request by Travis Wade and Tara Hall for an increase in the permitted accessory building floor area up to a maximum of 1,200 square feet, 1,040 square feet requested, subject to compliance with the percent lot coverage and placement standards in Article 20, Schedule of Regulations, in Section 2102G of the zoning ordinance. Property is located at 10368 Walnut Shores Drive, Benton, Michigan. Parcel ID 470409203071, zoned LK1, Lakefront Residential. So with that, we are now in the public hearing. So at this time, we can review the application, and we could just go here. So for the public's awareness, this is the planned agenda for the public hearing. We'll review the application, we'll receive public comments, and then the planning commission and planner comments or questions, and then we'll close the public hearing. So, here's a drawing of the barn. You guys can see here on the size. This is a site plan. So is the applicant in attendance tonight? Yeah, could you, if you could you come up and then kind of give a brief summary of what the plan is here?
Yeah, we're looking to put up a garage, storage, stuff like that. Sitting off the lake, as you can see there.
This is the
Yes.
intended location of
That's
the
correct.
barn. Okay. All right. Okay. So where do you currently store it? Just on the driveway?
Yeah, we have a little shed right now. There's a total sitting outside of the shed.
Okay.
What's the sidewall height?
I would have to, it was going on a concrete slab.
No, I mean like, was it like 8-foot walls, 10-foot walls?
I believe they're 10 foot.
10 foot.
Yeah.
412 truss, I would guess.
Yes, yeah.
Straightforward.
Thanks.
Vinyl siding to kind of match the
That's
existing.
correct, vinyl.
So it kind of fit in?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. We can ask more questions if we need to later. Oh, I'll just go through the, no, I don't want to go into, So is there any public comments regarding the public hearing item? Anyone in attendance? Okay, and Carrie, I know I asked before, but as part of the public hearing, did you receive any written communication?
No, I did not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next item is the planning commission and planner comments. So I know we do not need a planner review for these applications unless the planning commission feels it's appropriate in these cases. So I know, Steve, you asked a few questions already, which is great. Is there any other questions from the planning commission?
I got a couple questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you could put the map back up.
Yeah.
Your garage, is there a garage to your neighbor to the north at about the same distance?
Yes, there is, on the other side of his driveway, there is.
Okay, so the house to the south is basically about the same distance from the lake as yours?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, your garage wouldn't interfere with their view to the lake at all, right?
Oh, no,
Okay.
it sits far enough. That garage will sit past people's houses to closer to the road.
I just want to get this kind of straight. I'm having Rich pull up your your property here real quick. Can you put it on layers? Earth. Alright, so I think what you were referring to was that garage right here, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. I just want to make sure that that's, okay,
We got the same thing
so you're just kind of backing it up right to it, well, 14
Yeah,
feet from it?
I was gonna say almost right against the curve, so that it's gonna be sitting like right here.
Okay.
Right there, okay. Yeah, and in this district, you can be 10 feet from the property line without any variance.
What'd it say, 16 or something?
14.
14.
feet. Any other questions? Any other questions, Kevin?
Why is this coming to us again? And not-
So the reason why is because our maximum permitted size is 800 square feet. And if you're requesting anything above that, the ordinance requires a planning commission review.
Before the meeting.
And get recommendations.
So he could just go to the building permit and get a permit to go for it, or I think,
Yeah.
administrator got to okay it.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you
But
approve it, then.
without even going to the planning commission, if it's 800 or less. He's
Yes.
going 1,040. So
Because it's going over 800, then.
And we're talking about amending the ordinance anyways to go.
yeah, so we don't have to go.
Deal with this.
Okay. Just being clear, thank you.
Okay, so, Warren, Steve, any other questions or comments? Okay, so, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing then.
So move, so.
Okay, is there support? Support. Okay, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All righty, so,
So now are we back into a master plan, or can we go into?
yeah, so now, I recommend that we would go into new business item number
Yeah.
1,
And then go back to master.
which is this application.
Yep. Oh, sorry.
Yep, and then we can make a recommendation as a planning commission now at this time, if we don't need any further follow-ups from that. I didn't hear any that were needed. No,
So we're back into item 1, which
Yeah.
is this. So you don't have a motion?
yes, yeah, unless there's other items we need clarified.
I don't see.
I don't think so, and I haven't heard any public comments. Doesn't seem like the neighbors cared much. I'm sure they were notified, correct?
Yes, we're all notified.
Yes.
Then I would move to approve.
Okay, so there's a motion
Support that.
to recommend approval of the Wade Hall increase in accessory structure as submitted and a support.
Got it.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes, and none opposed. You're all set. Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay. So we'll go back into master plan and where I'll start. I know we were talking about the future land use map and existing land use map, but Kurt had asked for this past few meetings and we got it. And this is a kind of an overview of where we're at in the process. And as you can see, we're in June and the existing land use inventory was to make sure that we're looking at what we have currently and we're looking at designating how we're gonna do our future land use map. And we have a pretty good snapshot of that. There might be a few that could be amended, but I think the last amendment corrected those items. So now we're on to the future land use map, which we have been reviewing, and the main item is that we each could provide input somehow, maybe drawing on it or something is the easiest way, and then like send a picture to Ross, and then he could compile that for Mateo, but we'll get into that here, like we were talking about beforehand. So overall, Mateo, I think we're on track from the implementation standpoint, but I know that it's easy to miss a month or something here or there as things develop. So I think what you're looking from us is input on the future land use map at this time, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if we can put, if we can put the future land use map, to bed,
Yeah.
either at this meeting or maybe, I guess, in time for the next work session, right, because that's next week,
Yeah.
then we can incorporate this and start finalizing the definitions for these designations. I mean, essentially, all the sections I have a working draft on. So once we get the future land use map itself honed in, then the next step would be to kind of start providing the definitions of those designations and kind of how we're looking at them. But from the progress report there, I mean, we are on track. I mean, if you look at June, it's existing land use, future land use implementation plan, and we have the implementation portion draft started.
Yeah, okay. Yep, and then I think the one other part of this is for us that once we have a future land use map that we can all kind of directionally agree on, that I think the intent was to have a joint meeting with the board. That was part of one of our meetings maybe a month or so ago, and so I don't know if that will happen in July or August, but.
Ross was hoping for July is what he talked
Yeah,
about today.
okay, so
Yeah.
realistically, we should, in our workshop, be concluding the future land use map, so. I know we've given a lot of verbal input in meetings, but if we have specific, like, boundaries and stuff, and I've drawn on one map that I haven't finished, then we can hash them out and do that.
I like the fact that they, this area around Dean Road and that they kind of amended that, we talked about it last time.
Yeah.
Extensively. I was actually pretty pleased with this.
Pull this up. Yeah.
Looked
Yeah, here, yeah.
pretty good,
okay,
so, from what we had discussed.
Yeah, I mean,
I like the sewer lines.
so I was gonna say, so kind of the big stuff was we filled in all the to be determines, kind of based on your recommendations with the different residential designations and then the existing commercial industrial along 23, because that's kind of where our largest to be determined sections were. And then we added the truck routes to kind of show, where you could get potential interest, from the perspective of infrastructure, and it's the same thing with the water lines.
Yeah, yeah, and the only thing I think I mentioned it, Mateo, in our last one, but if you look at, so the dark green line coming across
Yeah.
east to west here, you look north, if you drive around north of that line, right, it feels more like low-density residential. And then if you drive around down here, it feels like agricultural, natural, right? Way more spread out. And it coincides with where we have services, right? We have these subdivisions and you have sewage. So
So you're kind of thinking like north of White Lake might
would flip-flop with this section here in color, right? Obviously, the lake is high density, we know that, but in this section here.
You're saying to change it?
Well, yeah, so it would be more, to me, with how things are. So do you see the area above, I think this isn't fully, but this is the ITC corridor, this big green belt.
Yep.
Basically, what I see that in the future, that this area will continue to be more populated based on what services are there.
All right, so what are you saying, that north of the?
Should be this
power line?
light brown color.
Low,
That's, so if you go south, if you drive along Runyon Lake from center.
low density
down-
residential.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
And then the area along 23 going south down to Heartland would be the agricultural, but, yeah. Because most of that property, there is homes, but if you look at it on a percentage basis, most of it is agricultural, but.
So it's kind of the, so what you're saying is kind of the, call it the L designated.
Correct,
as-
yeah.
As low-density residential would flip to agricultural, natural.
Yeah, and then this area would be low density residential. And to me, it fits with the utilities we have there up in this region, right? What you guys added, the sewer.
And so it's kind of from, so boxed out by 23 ITC,
Yeah.
Denton Hill, and then I guess where it butts up against the medium density.
Exactly, yeah.
That
yeah.
all goes to.
It seems like more natural, a natural way to have it, I don't know. And then on the other side of the 23, I think we talked last time that this section closest to 23, but I don't know how this delineation was made. You see where you have a mix between low and medium, where it kind of goes around.
Yeah, it kind
I
of.
would wonder if, is it more clear in a future land use map to have it?
Yeah, but also a reason why, I know it's a big parcel, we did give them direction to go by parcel boundaries, right? Remember how before?
Yes, correct, yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, you're talking, a big section there that,
Yeah. No, my question is just
a
like
big,
here.
large parcel.
What's, if you go there, that's a parcel boundary, right?
Yeah, we're looking at parcel boundaries. You're saying right here, Rich?
No, to the right one, that line there, yeah.
That's, I mean, you're saying that should be the.
No, like this, I don't know how.
Move them all over to that. Okay.
And have it
Yeah,
one,
I
so
think
this
so.
would be low density and then.
So like
closer
half,
to
half the
23.
distance,
Yeah,
Old 23 to Linden Road, half would be low density, half would be medium density.
yeah, and to me, it
I
makes
think that makes
sense
sense.
that the medium density is closer.
That's kind of way it's laid out, at least that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
it's medium right now.
It's close to it, it's just that one section where these two lots just bump
Those two
into
guys
it.
right there.
Yeah, so.
But you're saying just in this section here, what about north of Center Road? Seems like north of Center Road,
That's all medium right now,
it's, yeah,
on the future.
And to me, the medium makes somewhat sense
you're talking
there.
just between south of Center.
Yeah, and then south of Dean
And south
also.
of Dean.
If you look at, Mateo, if you can see where my cursor is.
And all the way to Lake Shannon?
You have, yeah, so you see where you have, right here, we have low density
Yeah,
surrounding commercial use. And then behind it, we have high density, or not high, or medium density.
Yeah, I
So
agree with you.
that, it seems like it's,
Yeah.
like we're picking and choosing spots, not being in like a general
So you want everything,
corridor.
everything on the.
I don't know, that's my
west-
opinion.
East
your
side of
thoughts,
Linden, you want medium and the west side to be low, is that what you're saying?
but- No, I just think it should line up with, you see how, if you look where my cursor is, these lots?
Yeah, those.
Yeah, they
Right.
should be, that should be medium density around
But-
the commercial.
But to me, like this lot here on the corner is a commercial use right now.
We need to change that to the future land use.
So in the future land use map, we shouldn't be saying it's low density residential.
I think we should put a plain, what do you call that?
That's at storage.
Yeah,
That's the
right?
Foster
That's on the
application.
south
That should be,
side.
should be like a planned industrial or something?
So we're talking future, so
Right.
like right now,
Yeah,
you
but-
have planned industrial right above it and planned commercial, so.
I think that should be,
And that's where, kind of, Mateo, do you understand where the questions come?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
okay,
of course.
Yeah,
we're getting kind of, I think we're getting to the, really fine tuning this at this point.
yeah, which is
That's
good.
right?
Yeah.
It's doing one more meeting.
Oh, no, but I'm all in favor of that, I think this is
Yeah,
really good.
sure, it just-
Considering it wasn't in the last meeting, where does
It's just
today?
right now, if you were, like, say you bought this
I think
big
that
chunk of land right now.
that should be medium, I think that whole thing, I agree.
Our future land use map would mislead you to think that
Yep.
this lot next to you is low density residential when really it's approved for a commercial use.
Pretty intense commercial
Yeah,
use.
yeah.
I would agree with that, those few parcels on the north of Fawcett should be flipped over to the medium, and I do think, shouldn't we designate, since there's already a proposed use for that, southwest corner of Fawcett, shouldn't that be at least put in
Storage units?
something, planned commercial or planned industrial?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I mean, in the future land use map, it should represent that.
What we're kind of already going for, or approved, okay. Yeah, I would agree.
So then the other,
So would you take this over here and put this into low?
well, to me, this is center, this is right up there. Should be a clear line down there. And then
Yeah.
the property's
Yeah, I was
closer
wondering
to
about
23
this.
should be
Yeah, I was
different.
wondering about that one
So
too.
if this column was all the way.
Yep, I like that.
I don't know,
It kind of makes sense.
so then the other,
Keeping it all in one area.
the other
And
sections
consistent.
right here north of the, I think this is Cider Mill Crossing. So you have this commercial use, which is the Fed trading post. And then go north of there. And we're not saying that this is the current use, I'm just saying in the future, if you have property that's on both sides planned for industrial uses, it would make sense that a future land use map would likely
Which parcel?
plan right here.
Maybe
These
north or south?
north,
Well, I
right,
think, well, so the little industrial there,
So you're south of Dean there.
just south.
yeah,
Just-
that's the trading post.
Yes, correct.
Got it.
yeah.
You got it,
Well,
right?
there's vacant land in there too, though.
Yeah, I think
That's
that
what we're
vacant
talking
land,
about.
the strip nearest, can you zoom in right there? The strip nearest the corner of Dean Road and Old 23,
Those are,
the
yeah.
south, going a little closer, there's two parcels there. The current zoning is PCI, planned commercial industrial. So I think that should, I mean,
And so my point is that I think for a future land use map, that this should be planned commercial.
yes.
Right, because that's exactly what our
Yeah.
zoning and.
All of it.
Yeah.
No, I think just that too, just the one in front, right?
Those two.
Just the ones adjacent to the Old 23.
Yeah.
I agree.
Basically
Match
match the zoning map today.
Yeah.
Right here, we got the zoning map right here. That's
Yeah.
purple, PCI, just match the zoning map there for those. Behind it, low density residential, or medium, I think it is, yeah, medium.
And then this lot here is.
And so just to be clear, so for differentiation standpoint, from the medium to the low, going west of 23, you'd like to use, you didn't want to necessarily, was it Linden Road? Was it Linden Road that you kind of wanted to use as kind of the transition from medium down to light?
I'd say,
I think it makes sense.
Or low?
yeah. But now, adjacent to the lake, I think you
That's-
gotta, I think those are all medium density, right? I mean, that's what it's showing
Yeah,
there.
right.
And I think that's what most of them are. There's some large parcels there, but, you know,
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of wondering if did it make more sense to do it down this property line here instead of Linden Road, because then
yeah,
you're coming straight and then,
yeah.
I don't know.
Low density still can go down to an acre and a
Exactly.
half. I mean,
Yeah.
those are big parcels and, you know, acre and a half is still,
Do we have to be, I mean, just out of curiosity, because it's the first time I've been through this, we don't have to be really that specific, we're just trying to get some guidelines.
No,
yeah, but
that's-
it can come down to it. So if someone wants to develop that, they're gonna, it says right in the
So it
ordinance.
is that important to get it
Yes.
lot by lot, exactly right.
because
Okay.
our
I mean,
old-
if that's what we think, you know.
No, well, right, I didn't know,
Because-
I thought this was like I didn't know if this was like a sort of a future
Yeah,
plan.
Steve, if you
It is.
look at, this is
Really specific,
it's
okay.
Because
really,
if there's a big parcel there, and someone wants to come in and develop it, it's gonna set what they can, unless we override it with the PUD or something, but I mean, it's really gonna set the stands for what could be developed there.
because if you look at our old one, I have it up now, it was not very clear, and there's been multiple applications where it's, it's not clear what the future land use map intended, right, at all. And so because you can see you have curved lines. in here.
Right, I know we didn't
You know,
have to
so
do
that
that.
was why
Yeah.
we said, hey, let's try to be specific so we
Okay.
don't
Yep.
mislead somebody, whether a applicant or a homeowner.
And I think it's almost, if you look at the old one, it was like that first whole set of large parcels off 23 was commercial. I think we're kind of toning down some of that commercial office and all that, but, you know, then go into medium and then go into low density.
Yep.
Yeah, so the only other. Makes sense, how those are.
What about these strips here, you know? I guess they could make sense.
Yeah, and my thought, like around, if you look between Runyon Lake Road and the highway, John, you were mentioning these,
Yeah.
that my thought was that those would make sense as low-density residential. And you see this area, Mateo, that we're,
I mean,
because of
Yeah.
the services that are there and what's right across the road. And we know, like, if this one,
Just south of Foley Road, what did we change that to?
let me zoom out here. So it was
Foley.
this corner.
Yep.
Right here, that
We
was
just did
the.
that.
yeah, we need to change that.
Density, I believe.
I mean, we just changed the zoning to
Wasn't it medium?
RE, right? It was FR, we changed it to RE, was that correct?
Yeah, we increased the density on it.
Yeah, that was the 1.5
Yeah.
acres, I believe.
So maybe Foley Road or something.
But also, there's no, you know, there's no services over the, well, I don't know if there is.
Yeah, no, not currently.
The service there is
To the
to
lake.
service the lake.
Yeah.
And I think we discussed that in one of the visioning sessions and through this master plan, that we're not looking to necessarily expand the service, right?
Yeah.
But if it's going through there, then we're gonna designate those areas where they would need the sewer service. I didn't know they had
So
sewer.
the black lines on here are
Truck route.
truck routes.
So I will say this much, Livingston County doesn't actually have like truck routes designated.
Okay.
We do in the township though.
You do?
Yeah, there's a,
The green.
it's
White little black thing.
no, well, he.
Well, we put that in.
Right.
And
There's
those
a, ordinance, or a, resolution or something. Let me,
In the-
try pulling it up.
Where is it, John? Regulatory ordinance?
Yes, regulatory ordinance, that's the word, thank you. I don't know how to find it on this new website yet, but.
I know, I'm still.
38B is
Up
the
there, down the
Truck
right
route.
road and to the highway.
truck route 38B.
If I remember right.
So Denton Hill Road.
There's no Hogan Road on it, it's a truck route.
It shows it on
I
here.
wanna
Where is
close
it?
it for them.
Can you go,
It does show it on here.
yeah, Hogan Road from US 23 to west of the township limit.
Is a truck.
I thought you said it's not.
Oh, yeah.
It shows that there is on this map.
Yeah.
It's a designated truck route.
Yeah, yes it is.
And, how are we gonna change it?
Okay, so you, Mateo, this was put in based on our ordinance, correct?
Yes.
The black lines, okay. All right. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, not to create confusion, I just,
Yeah.
the county itself didn't have one, but this shows it via your ordinances.
So the township doesn't have anything to say about it? This is the Livingston County that's gonna tell us that this is a truck route designated?
No, the board passed that resolution, right?
That was 2012.
Can you pull that up?
Yeah, 2012.
That's Tyrone Township, what do you call it, regulatory ordinance.
Yeah, from the Deerfield.
Go all the way down, does it say that it was passed by the board or something, right there? That's,
Yeah, that was before the old master plan that was in it. That's why I'm trying to.
Yeah, 2004.
yeah, the 2004, the board passed that
Yes, and
regular.
we cannot, can we change it now with the new master plan included that?
Well, that would make the gravel pit inaccessible.
Yeah,
On
that'd be
Hogan
tough to
Road.
do.
Well, they can go on Linden Road, and it's not in Deerfield, you know.
So as the
Linden Road
plan-
isn't a truck road.
But as a planning commission, this resolution was put in place by the township board. So as a planning commission, we can't, you know,
But we-
we're using it as consideration for our future land use is why we
Right.
want it on there. But it is a good point, for sure.
I mean, we are working on a truck route too, so.
Yeah. So that would be something to bring up to the township board, for sure. Yeah.
It's,
Nobody wants to live near a gravel pit.
yeah, I live with the trucks every day, and I've been talking about it for 2 years, I'm sorry, it just drives me crazy.
So did you get all those notes down, Mateo?
Well, I was gonna say, if you wanna, let me recap what I've got.
Yeah, that would, yeah. Is this a good view?
Yeah, so we'll
Leave it
start
on
at the
spot.
top.
I can zoom in if you need it.
No, you're good.
Let's try it like that.
Essentially, you know, this area, you wanted to bump up to the low-density residential.
Yep.
I agree with that.
All the green, including north of White Lake?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All that green, yeah.
All that green,
Mhm.
that goes to low density, I got that. Then, why don't we scroll down, just straight down? Yep, there you go. All of this, with the exception of the lake here, bumps down to the agricultural, natural.
That was what I was talking about.
Where was that, where's that bottom, south limit to that?
That partial road, it goes to Heartland Township, is what it butts to.
That's
Yeah, but
from
I'm saying-
Center Road to Partial, right?
Yeah.
You're saying, all?
All right, all of it this side of 23 goes down a notch to this. The agricultural, which is the lowest density.
Yeah.
That yes?
That was my thought when I looked at the map and when you drive the area, but I don't know what you guys.
So wait,
I mean, this is something we're
sort of, that way in
Absolutely.
the existing, it was, you know, it's consistent with the existing land. use.
Yeah.
Right, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
Exactly, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not leading, I'm just saying, like, if you could.
I think it makes sense.
Skyscrapers.
Yeah, for skyscrapers.
You know,
I'm for that.
Yeah, it just my thoughts on it, you guys can.
all right, so then we'll focus on kind of this area.
Yeah.
This line, as best kind of followed, north to south, the current the current light residentials that exist to the east of that would get bumped up to the mediums, and the mediums west of it would get bumped down to the low density, you know, with the exception of what is.
Yep, exceptional.
Around the lake, yeah.
And then, well, so answer that question first, so from a residential standpoint.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Then we've got a little bit of commercial here,
Yeah.
Yep.
and we've got these strips here, commercial,
Correct?
and I think
So,
that's what I got.
yeah, and then, so the only other thing looking at this, guys, and you guys speak up, just my thoughts is, you have planned commercial right here, then you have low density, then you have planned commercial again, low density, then this is, what is that?
Church.
Should that all go to medium, those?
Well, I'm wondering what fits in,
Well,
if we're already,
it
we
kind of
have
makes-
commercial going everywhere, is,
Kind of makes sense, medium should be all commercial.
no, but are we actually planning this to be a commercial? And if we put it on there as medium density residential, are we telling the truth in our future land use map? That's what my question is, right? So if we have commercial going up and down that whole area of 23,
Yeah, but I don't see why
Can-
these few spots should be, those.
From a
those
future land
should be-
use
Yeah, should be low density when everything to the west is medium.
I guess my question is, why shouldn't they be playing commercial?
Because people don't want more commercial.
I think,
No, I understand that.
I
I
think-
understand that, Steve, for sure. That's a lot of
Yeah.
feedback we get, but from a, hey, what's our future land use plan for this corridor?
I don't see that being a fully commercial corridor. I see it more of an intermittent, actual water sports, the Irish, the subdivision, maybe another,
Okay, yeah, no, that's why, but that's why I asked the
High density
question.
residential?
That's why I asked.
I don't know about high density. I don't think-
Higher than.
Which is the medium
The
density.
medium
That's what I'm
density,
saying, higher than low.
the
Yeah.
medium density will allow a half acre lot, which I think should be our bare minimum.
I think those, in my opinion, those, what is there, there's
1, 2,
three,
4,
yeah, 3 parcels. That little small one up there in the corner,
and these ones here.
yeah, those 4 should go to medium, in my opinion.
Okay.
Right, that's kind of what we talked about.
Does that make sense?
Delineation.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to ask the question then.
Now, if there was a certain parcel that someone thought, hey, that should be like some kind of commercial services, then, I mean, we did cut out quite a bit of commercial,
For sure.
The infrastructure is what's gonna bring interest in that.
And that's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
Right, because the infrastructure is there, you have Old
But
23.
I'm thinking
you
going
have-
back to what they're, doing down on 59 with, I mean, all those senior citizen centers down there.
Oh,
And
yeah,
this-
for sure,
But this
yeah.
has the,
Yeah.
but that's kind of a quasi-residential,
Yeah,
I don't know, the one they just built in the south end of Penn Township, I mean, well, they're expanding it, but it's there's plenty there. I mean, we don't,
but you see they finished one in Hartland, they're building another one, and they're actually starting to build another one down there in 59? Like,
they
it's.
keep building gravel pits, but we don't wanna say we want gravel pits either.
Yeah, but I'd rather have a senior living center.
They keep
No,
building,
but-
they keep building solar in Livingston County too.
Do they?
but to that point,
We're trying to.
Mateo, I think the medium density is.
Yeah, that's a good.
So are you talking all 3 of those lots there on the corner of Dean and Old 23?
Yeah,
I think just the ones at
First
front, just the ones at front, and that'll match the current land use, or current zoning.
Yeah, but how can you have a low density backed up by a medium density when it's right on the highway with the sewers right there out the front of it? It just doesn't make sense if you wouldn't have that medium at least.
Yeah,
No, that's what he's
medium
gonna
for sure.
Oh, okay,
Medium for
that's
sure.
what-
But medium, you can go down to half acre.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, yeah.
a nice lot.
Yep, it is. It's a great line. It's a nice size.
So then the other,
But I mean, if you look at what we had
Access?
before, we had all commercial down there.
Yeah, I don't-
Even some of it all the way back to Linden Road. And we're really just kind of bringing that back in,
so the only other areas where we have like maybe a question that just coming to my
Stuff-
mind right now is the.
West of Runyon Lake.
The golf course
Yeah.
right here. So right now we have it in the future land use map as medium density. And the future land use map, as Mateo mentioned, is your future plan. It doesn't have to match what it is today. So to me, I think this is a good way to do it. Like say they sold it tomorrow.
But also, you go to all this whole process we've done in the master plan,
Yeah.
visioning sessions, public survey, our discussion, we talk about there's not enough recreation, there's no park, there's
Yeah,
no parks.
absolutely, yeah.
So why would we take the one golf course that's right on the, you know,
Yeah, so
right in
the-
the middle of the
so
township?
then, yeah, and then, so then you could say, well, in the future, should we keep it as
Commercial recreation.
commercial, so, and then that can be a lot of things. That's my fear, right? It can be,
How do Osceola
We just
get
mentioned
Palm
earlier.
Hills as a common golf course, or township golf course? How do they do that?
what's that?
By the property?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Osceola Township owns Chemung Hills Golf Course.
Yeah, they bought it, yeah.
Yeah. And they've got another big rec building they just put in down there and down the road.
Yeah, I could see.
What's that? I
I
mean,
could
that's
see
what I
that.
think. I
Also bike trails, all that.
Oh, really?
And what you're saying, well, what if something else come in there? We still have, that will come to a planning
It would still
commission.
come.
And if it doesn't meet, well, we have the vision for the, you know,
So do you think?
I got hurt.
So you're saying, I think this is the golf course right here, or does it go all the way down?
I did open the GIS and it did not work for me,
No.
Pays good.
but let me open it up.
You got, I don't know, this year, probably, well, our thoughts were is that maybe that golf course should be commercial recreation in the future land use map.
I like being a rec use.
That's what I mean, that's what John.
I mean, it can't be public because it's not a public course.
Right.
But right now we designate it as medium density, then, you know, right now we're wondering how can we get other recreation opportunities in the township?
Yeah, there was but often, there was a common thing people brought up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To have recreation.
Absolutely.
Which, on that map there,
I think it's these two,
Those
but
two.
I don't know if the golf course may be these
It's
other ones also, I don't know how it.
It's a square piece on center.
It's right here, but I don't know about these two.
I think it's that whole thing, because it's 160 acres.
So it's this and these.
Yes, both those.
So all four of those.
No, it's those two.
Just these top two?
It's
Yeah.
these, it's this, yeah, it's right there, yeah, it's that. It's that.
Okay.
So,
you want that commercial rec.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, it is those two
It's just-
only, okay.
Now, this, where we have that is north of the storage units. We have that as,
Multi,
medium density residential,
yeah.
but, that's, good luck with that, that's the, it's like a bird sanctuary or something.
Yeah, and so to me, that, these areas, okay, for one. Yeah, they are, yeah. So these two here, then like,
Recreation, open space, I don't know.
yeah, okay.
That's, those are tough ones. you know.
Because those are all privately owned parcels,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think he said he wanted to put sub in there
Oh,
in the future.
which one is it?
That property there,
The township, the golf course,
no,
south of there?
further south of there.
So I thought it was like a, I always thought that was like a nature something.
But in our future land use, we can have it how it is and it makes sense,
Yeah.
right, to me.
I think it makes
As
makes
medium
sense.
density,
Yeah.
and then, yeah.
I mean, it's fully wooded, it is kind
Yeah.
of nice to have that, but, what is the current zoning of it?
Let me see.
PCI.
I think this might be.
I never understood the red on White Lake Road right there.
This one?
right there.
Is that Bentley?
No,
No, this is the,
where they used to have the old paintball.
Oh, that's where that place is, next to the
That's,
Tyrone
cemetery.
or is this the cemetery? That red spot?
I think that's a cemetery.
Community business. Is what it's called.
It's called what?
Community
The
business.
cemetery?
So I wonder if this is what that is.
People are dying to get in there.
This isn't that the paintball place, the one that's right along?
No, it's,
No, there's a
that's
house on the
Dewberg.
corner.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's currently zoned B2.
Yeah, okay.
It's for sale, right?
It is for
Yeah,
sale.
it's been for sale for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, he came to talk about what he could do with it that one time.
So if you look at, this is PCI, the one closest to 23, those lots we were talking about.
Wait, okay.
The one below the golf course,
Yeah,
right here.
yeah, that's
That
currently
one.
PCI.
Currently, so to me, if we put that as planned commercial,
Yeah, it's in a commercial area.
it fits better, but I don't know. Just my thoughts.
Well, you can always put in housing if you want, right?
Yeah. I think that would take it.
So, yeah, this is just
Yeah.
future, hey, that makes sense.
But
there.
you got action, storage units, so if we're gonna
Keep it the same.
keep it then up to the golf course, then you got golf course, which is kind of still a commercial service, but, you know, kind of a step down.
Does that make sense, Mateo? This one lot here?
But if they wanted to build houses out the golf course, they could.
You want that converted to?
Yeah, it could be condos someday all the way around. there.
Same as the south of it, plain commercial. Okay.
Okay. So then I would, yeah, so I would say, I mean, I've got good stuff to work on
Yeah,
here.
for
I
sure.
don't know that I could guarantee the changes by the work session,
Yeah.
but I would definitely say at the next work session is where, like, this kind of gets finalized, you know, stamped from your guys' perspective, and then, you know what I mean, the maps.
Yeah, and I think
That's next Wednesday night?
Next Wednesday.
I won't be here.
Yeah. And then most of this, what we've done tonight is a lot of the work that we needed to do.
I think so.
You know,
It's just if you're, you know, you
Yeah.
wake up at 2
There's
o'clock in the
something, yeah.
morning and forgot to mention one of the
Yeah,
things.
no, no, makes sense, yeah.
Could you, when you get this done, could you email it to us like you did last one?
Yeah, I mean,
Give it to
once-
Ross and he'll send it out to us.
Yeah, I
Just 'cause
don't-
It's helpful to take a look.
Prior.
yeah,
Prior to having it, yeah, because I mean, I won't be here, but at least I could potentially comment on it prior to the meeting.
well, I'm gonna shoot to have it by the next work session, by next Wednesday. I can't offer the guarantee right here and right now, but I will tomorrow when I meet with Doug. I'll see where we can get this prioritized.
But even if you haven't, I think, even if you haven't done it that earlier that day, you know, then we could look at it before the meeting. You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, any other items? There was a lot we covered.
I know we jumped around.
Good discussion.
Yeah, very good discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
I just want to make sure, Mateo, there's nothing else from us that you need. I know this is the main thing, right, really? Or is there any other open items?
This is, the map's the big one, because
Yeah.
then, like I said, the languages, all of the language is pretty much already in draft form. We just need to tighten it up and get it prepared for you guys to look at. But the future land use map is kind of, you know, it's the future land use plan, like this is the next biggest thing in the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just want to
Yeah, no,
get something simple, and then we have to wait another meeting.
No.
Just in case you had something.
no, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I'm sure I'll talk to Doug tomorrow. Did you ask him about this? I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess that's getting pushed.
Construction.
Oh.
Actually, it's all the time.
Okay, so then, is there any other items, guys, on the master plan for now?
I think we're good on master plan. Now, we
Yeah.
jumped around a bunch. Are we done with solar?
So we're done with solar because we're waiting for
the
the text, and then we can go into that. It's more of a
That one, we just gotta keep, we gotta keep
Yeah.
making progress on too.
Yeah.
And we're not doing it at the workshop, so.
Well, we have a moratorium that's gonna expire, so you need to be cognizant.
That's it, we just gotta.
When does it
If we
expire?
continue progress, then he can
I
extend that
believe
moratorium,
that
so.
the moratorium was in
Yeah.
April.
Oh, good.
I mean,
And it was 6 months,
we have to
right?
show progress.
Yeah, I don't think they want,
November.
I thought Ross indicated that it's not desirable to extend.
Again, like, legally speaking.
No, but we have until
Like,
October.
they can extend it out as long as.
So there's also,
But we have to show that we're doing
Yeah.
something.
And I would assume that having minutes and talking about it is showing progress.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay, good.
No, so that's it. Okay, so then we'll go to call to the public. Do you have any comments? I know you gave some during the meeting, so, okay. All righty, so any miscellaneous business, Carrie?
Yes, just one thing, the township board has had discussions and determined that we should start requiring a survey for all residential construction.
Yeah, and Carrie, so I saw that in one of the township board meetings, so are they gonna have the clerk submit an application to the planning commission?
I'm not sure how they're gonna do it. Ross said that to let you know he was gonna send you information on it.
Yeah, understood, yeah.
Is this
Just from a technical standpoint, right, the board isn't supposed to direct.
Yes, I
Things
think.
to be
we'll
done. I
probably
think it's
receive
supposed
something
to
from the
be-
clerk's office.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted, because obviously for us, on the ZBA, right,
Yeah,
in the past few months, there's, I can't remember exactly which month, but something came before the ZBA, and there's a dispute over property lines, and they wanted the ZBA to make a variance judgment,
yeah,
but the property line dispute wasn't settled.
right.
So this
That's still
thing that's
ongoing.
being talked about here
Yes,
would definitely help
It
in
would.
some of those cases, so it's probably a good idea, just
Is
a
that
technicality more for it.
As built for new construction, is that what they're talking about?
just for new residential.
Yeah.
As built.
Which is it type of survey, did they indicate?
They just, because we
Boundary
don't
survey?
normally require one, we
Yeah,
only
understood.
just require a site plan, but because of issues that have come up, they're saying we should always have a survey.
Oh,
That way.
this is becoming common in all townships.
Yes.
So this isn't for existing residents, this is for any new
New
builds.
build.
Okay, so new residents,
What-
Yes.
new, okay.
What about like an extension?
No, not necessarily for that, I don't think.
But we can get into that when we.
Yeah, I'm not
talk.
sure, but I know
It's
like
gonna come our way though.
if you're doing a deck or a pool or something,
Yeah.
a
built it in?
new build, new house.
We always can require it, it's allowed.
Yes, it's on
We
our
can-
application.
Yeah, we can always require it.
Yeah, we just don't typically require it. Certain circumstances
Yeah.
we do, but typically we don't.
Yeah, that's,
I'd get that.
my friend who's a surveyor said that this is really common, and he heard scuttlebutt that we were gonna start requiring this. He asked me about it. I said, I haven't heard anything about this yet, but I wouldn't be surprised because all these municipalities are making this a common thing now. Because somebody says, I'm gonna put my house here, and
Yeah.
you wanna make sure when it's built that it's where they said they're gonna put it, not, you know,
5 feet
if it's,
from
if it's, a-
property
yeah,
line.
if it's a 16-foot off setback and all of a sudden 10 feet closer. But the problem I have is, what he said, they made people do is they made them put the stakes in and survey the stakes prior to getting the permit, which is like a 2-step process.
Yeah,
So that you make sure you put the house where you said you're gonna put it.
right.
I mean, is that something we're talking about?
I'm not sure because when we.
Because once you build it, then you,
Right,
okay.
when we get a site plan, when they submit that and they sign off on it, that's like a contract, that's where your house is gonna be. So if it ends up not being where they said it was and we approved it, it just goes to court, it's not on us anymore. But a survey would eliminate that issue.
He said they would do a preliminary
So-
staked basement, and then they would come back and do the as-built, which
That's
is what
fine.
what you do in commercial.
The issue that you were talking about, would this requiring a survey, would that fix from here going forward? Would that fix that specific issue?
Oh, like
Because it
with
sounded
a
like-
dispute over a
Yes,
property line.
it sounded like that was something that
Well,
wasn't a new resident.
Potentially, it could not fix that,
Right.
right? It's just, it has, what it does is maybe someone wants to put a fence in or a barn.
Right, so that's what I'm saying,
We
like,
might
why-
have to, like, for that's the kind of thing we'll have to consider, then
Yeah.
if they have to get a survey, then they know that, hey, you can't put it here, you gotta put it.
Right, so that's what I'm saying, like, why aren't we doing this as needed, sorry, versus
We can.
versus.
Well, that's, we could require it, or the township could require it.
Versus requiring that on every single one, like, it just
Because
doesn't make much
then
sense.
you end up not requiring it, and if someone's gonna build a house, we just looks like a simple site plan, but we approve it, they say, hey, it's gonna be 15 feet off the lot line, but nobody knows where the lot line is, because there's no surveyors that worked on this project yet. So the contractor goes out there and they put the house where they want, 15 feet off that looks like the lot line. Right now, they can build a house like that.
Yeah, but that still doesn't fix the very specific issue of why you were saying.
No, that was
Place.
something I remembered. I don't
Oh,
think-
okay, I thought it was.
I have
thought
that-
was what
Oh,
prompted
no,
it.
sorry,
That
Kevin, no.
doesn't make any
No,
sense.
I have no
Specific
idea
application.
Okay.
of what prompted
Okay,
this.
okay.
All I know is what,
No,
a couple things.
and I agree, that's the way I did it.
Would you
I
build
did
a house?
survey. I did
I mean,
a
if it's in the
survey.
middle of a huge parcel, maybe.
Yeah,
But if
right,
it's-
but I mean, I did a survey, and I'm only what, like, I think I'm like 50 feet from the line or something like that, and I get that, like, I was just trying to figure out, like, your very specific instance, and I thought
No,
that's what
yeah,
prompted
no, I just
Because I'm like,
made
that
me,
doesn't make any sense.
it made me
Like,
think of that.
yeah, okay. But no, like, I mean, I understand having surveys and that stuff.
Yeah, that's become-
Especially when your frontage was like
And then
that.
lakes, you know.
Yeah, that
lakes
one
where
lake
they're-
guy
they're
who
tight,
came in
we're-
part or whatever.
All the big townships,
I mean,
not that we're not big townships.
Wade,
All the
Wade
big
and Hall.
townships that get lots of
I mean,
development,
yeah.
they require that
Yeah.
on every lot.
Yeah, well, like Wade and Hall, like this example here, I mean, they're
Came in here
they
today.
have a very small
So he says he's
lot.
14 feet
And-
How do you know it is? Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, I get that.
Well,
That
that's
would-
why.
And that one would have been.
I think when
You don't know civil votes,
yes,
you have to
then
do
we're gonna
30
determine it for an accessory structure and
Yeah,
whatnot.
thanks,
Right.
man.
And that's a good example.
Certified.
I think it would, I'd want it.
Then
Yeah, I'd
have to
absolutely.
come and make sure it's as built.
Okay, so the only other item is
And
the
that's about
next
$1,000
workshop,
a pop.
which would be next Wednesday at 6.
I wonder what I want to put it on.
Plan to talk about the master plans.
So is Kurt still gonna be gone?
Next Wednesday, yes.
I think so. It's
He
probably
is,
2 weeks, yeah.
He is, John.
I'll
So-
let you know.
Yeah, so we'll have to confirm a
Yeah.
forum. Just make sure.
So we don't have to.
It's a workshop.
Well, if we wanna finalize our future land
This vehicle,
use,
that vehicle, but then they put more.
if we have any changes, right? We
Well, I
can't,
would-
we don't wanna have a few people
How do
here
we,
saying.
yeah, it's a recommended, I mean, we don't wanna make big decisions if we don't have, it's not required because we're not voting on anything.
That's
But we're
exactly
given like nods, like, we're willing to accept.
But here's the
it.
scenario, if they finish all these amendments to it that we requested tonight, and only 2 people show up,
Yeah.
we can't say, yes,
I'll be.
that's the plan we want.
I mean, because
That's the only thing.
Because at the end of the day, that work's the last meeting for June. We have to be done
Correct,
with
yeah.
1/1 by June,
Yeah,
and that's
I'll be here.
that's a pretty big thing. So I'm gonna try to. Obviously. I just want to make sure that we're always on task for that.
Yeah, no, so I think that's, yeah, good point, John, thanks. Anything else before we adjourn? All righty, we'll adjourn, thanks.
This is easy. This is just a funny comment. You know what, I was reading in the paper about everyone's income is going down because they're not keeping up with